Believe me when I tell you that the OTF case is a total mess. Remember when 3 murders were suddenly pinned on King Von 2 years after he died? Well, it turns out that someone was feeding the feds some super accurate information, and if there's one person who knew about V's murders, it was Durkio. Now, it turns out that the feds were listening in on Durk's conversations, and he might have spilled all the beans. Damn, y'all ain't ready for what Dario admitted on tape about V. Lil Durk caught on tape telling on King V. The OTF saga keeps getting crazy by the day, because now it's been confirmed that someone in Duro's camp was actually feeding the feds information. But was he wearing a wire? Well, based on what the feds have about V and the murders he committed, it seems that Durk was caught in 4K spilling the beans to his crew about King Von's work in the streets. The dude being accused of ratting out Durk and OTF affiliates is called OTF Jam. King Yella, a Chicago rapper who reps the Gangster Disciples, took to social media to reveal that word on the street. And among OTF affiliates was that Jam had long been accused of working with the feds.
I heard somebody named OTF Jam, they said they've been calling him a rat. And basically he said, okay, I'm a rat. Well, watch this.
Since Yella is a GD and OTF are affiliated with the BDS, everyone thought he was trolling. That's until people noticed that no one in OTF was coming to his rescue. In fact, he had to hop onto social media to try to clear his name. According to him, his name wasn't on any paperwork, so everyone should stop accusing him of snitching. Casey J. Hester, aka OTF Jam, is my artist's real name until you see that name on the paperwork. Don't at me, he posted. OTF Jam went a step further and accused Durkio of snitching on him. He first revealed that Durkio snitched on him on a track, calling me a rat or a snitch, but rapping snitch on themselves all the time. He posted, Jam was talking about the track Back Again, where Durk raps, Jam, get out that jam, I give him 50, ain't got to ask again. He was catching murders way back then. That's when the max was in. Jam actually confirmed that Durk had given him 50K when he got out of jail.
He said he gave you 50, bro. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying? Fact?
More than that. Feel like more than that.
But so, can you tell us how much he gave you, or you don't want to even?
No, we ain't gotta get into all that, but bro made sure he made a way for me to be.
Now, according to OTF Jam, after the feds saw this, they were on him 247. Who he snitched on me on a song, police all up on me after that. Oh, he catching murders. Let's get him. Jam posted. And 2. Keep it a buck, Jam hasn't really been mentioned in any of the indictments. What's even more interesting is that OTF affiliates went on social media to reveal more rats within their camp. A dude known as OTF Win took to his IG to accuse OTF affiliates of snitching, posting photos of dudes called Marlon Kirsch and Karen Holland. He even accused Marlon Kirsch of wearing a wire. The wire accusations have been wild because, if true, a lot of crimes in Chicago might be solved very soon. And it seems that Durkio was caught on these tapes talking about King Von's past crimes. Now, peep this, in August 2022, cops were able to pin 3 murders to King Von's name, even though he had died 2 years earlier. Now, here's the interesting part. A few months back in February 2022, Jam got out of prison after serving 12 years for attempted murder. And now the fans are connecting the dots. Durk may have been telling these stories to his OTF affiliates, and the rat with a wire picked up all the intel and gave it to the feds. One of the murders that cops were able to connect to King Val was the brutal death of one of Chicago's deadliest assassins, Gakura Baran alias Key. Rumor has it that she killed Oda Perry, a legend in Chicago, and stole his gun. She then posted photos brandishing the weapon on social media. It wasn't long before the rumor was attached to Key. She also took to social media to brag about her crime. On April 11, 2014, a hooded gunman shot Barnes in front of a home in the 6400 block of South Earth. Key was hit 9 times in the mouth, neck, and chest before running and collapsing on a neighbor's doorstep and passing out. She later succumbed to her injuries at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. She walked with her brother, FBG Butter, and a friend that day. All 3 sustained gunshot wounds. But it seemed as though Key was the intended target, as the other 2 survived at first. King Von was arrested in connection with the shooting after eyewitnesses identified him. However, the police could not meet the burden of proof in court. so the charges were rejected because of the lack of solid evidence to convict him. And in 2022, after King Bao died, in a tragic shooting in Atlanta, cops finally linked V to Key's murder. According to police reports, the shooter wore a gray hoodie and blue jeans. He approached the 3 victims, produced a handgun, and began firing in the direction of the victims, striking all 3. He was then observed entering a vehicle and fleeing the scene. Even Jay Hood, a former Oblak member and close friend to Vaughn, confirmed this. According to him, V walked up to him and gave him the shocking news. And then V walked up to me, and I shook his hand. He looked straight, and then I looked straight, and I'm like, why? You telling me to look straight? He look straight. And what I'm going to say to you, don't look at me. I tell you, according to Jay Hood, Vaughn told him that he had shot 3 people, and that Key was the last one of the 3 he had shot and killed. I'm looking straight. He man, why I just run up on Key and he know why I just ran up on them and caught Key. She was the last one running out of the gate. The other murder that was linked to V's name was Mel McCambry. In October 2012, 17-year-old Mel was shot and killed in the 6300 block of South Rhodes Avenue. That day, Mel and his 18-year-old cousin, who was identified as Miles Turner, were on their way to meet a girl in the West Woodall neighborhood on the south side when someone walked up and opened fire just before 9:30 p.m. According to reports, Miles bent over to embrace Modale, who was bleeding out from the gunshot wounds on his chest. However, the shooter, who the cops now believe was King Bao, showed no remorse. He stood over the 2 and shot Miles multiple times on his back. Mel was taken to Stroger Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries, while Miles was rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital with multiple gunshot wounds and remained in a medically induced coma for weeks. Luckily, he survived the ordeal. The third murder that Vaughn was linked to is that of Chicago rapper Mark Campbell, alias Lil Mark. In the days leading up to the release of his music video, No Competition, a disc aimed at the rival gang OTF, just a day after dropping the video, on March 26, 2014, Lil Mark had a close encounter with death. He was caught by rival gang members and was allegedly shot at, but managed to escape unharmed. However, he wouldn't be so lucky. 2 days later, March 28, 2014 started like any other day for Lil Mark. The young rapper was standing near a bus stop on 5100 Siemens King Drive in the Washington Park neighborhood of Chicago. The sun was setting, casting a golden way over the city, when a silver minivan approached. Inside the vehicle, the shooter, armed with a handgun equipped with an extended clip, unleashed a barrage of bullets. At least 12 shots rang out, 2 of which struck Lil Mark in the head. After a brief pause, the shooter fired 2 more shots before speeding away in the minivan. Lil Mark was pronounced dead at the scene, his dreams and potential extinguished in an instant. The silver minivan used in the murder was discovered in flames on 3700 South Ellis Avenue, just 5 hours after the shooting. The burning vehicle was a clear attempt to destroy evidence and hinder the investigation. According to Worden, the street D. Rose and Twilla were at the heart of the hit. However, cops now believe that King Bao pulled the trigger. There's wide speculation that Durk was innocently telling his OTF boys about Vaughn's past, and the rats passed the intel to the feds, but he might have said a little too much, including the crimes that he and V were both involved in Lil Durk and King Von Krimsbrey. Durkio and V were menaces in the streets, and they got into serious trouble multiple times. One time they faced a charge that would have seen them in jail for years and destroyed their rap careers in the process. This was the attempted murder of their rival Alexander Weatherspoon on February 4, 2019 at around 5:45 a.m. On February 5, 2019, shots rang out at the parking lot of a popular restaurant located in Midtown Atlanta. A 23-year-old man stumbled from across the parking lot and collapsed in front of the One Cigar Lounge as an SUV sped out of the parking lot where the shots had been fired. Terrified customer swiftly called 911, and he was taken to the hospital. Luckily, he survived. Witnesses told the authorities that an SUV with 300 plastered on the side was seen speeding away from the scene after the shots were fired. Turns out Durk had an SUV with a similar description. Despite this clue, no one was arrested for months. However, 3 months later, cops had a breakthrough. On May 4, 2019, Vaughn would be the first suspect arrested. In connection with the shooting, Bezu, a gang member affiliated with Trigger Happy Family, THF, was also arrested 9 days later. Finally, the Atlanta police issued an arrest warrant on May 29, 2019 for the final suspect in the shooting incident. Lil Durk, the Chicago rapper, was hit with 5 felony charges. These included criminal attempt to commit murder, aggravated assault, unlawful association with criminal street gang to conduct or participate in crime, possession of a firearm during commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon at the time Durk was touring. However, the rapper canceled his tour and went straight to Atlanta. He immediately dropped a record titled Turn Myself. In the next day, the rapper granted WSB-TV an interview at his lawyer's office, where he revealed that he was about to turn himself in since he had nothing to hide nor nothing to run from. Lil Durk stood on business and denied all the charges that the feds had pinned on him. Although he claimed he was innocent, evidence against the rapper seemed to tie him to the shooting. First, Jeffrey Churchill, a detective from the Atlanta PD, took to the stand where he revealed that he had spoken with a witness who was with the 2 rappers the night of the shooting. According to her, a fight broke out in a car that was in front of them. She then saw Durk pull out a firearm, forcing her to run around the building where she heard shots fired. She later saw the victim in a pool of blood. The detective also revealed that they had obtained surveillance footage showing Vaughn's hand sticking out of the SUV and firing his weapon at Weatherspoon. You see Mr. Banks' arm out the window firing several shots at the victim. Towards the victim. To top it all off, prosecutors wanted the case treated as gang-related and had a Chicago police captain confirmed that Vaughn and Durk were members of the Black Disciples gang. A judge would later find probable cause and the charges brought up against the rappers, meaning that the case would move to trial. However, the tide would turn in Durk's favor, because in late October 20,122, all charges against Durk were dropped. Interestingly, the shooting was pinned on King Von. In a statement released by the Fulton County D. and Miss Fonnie Willis, if Vaughn was alive, he would be in jail for the shooting. If co-defendant Devin Bennett, aka King Val, had not died in 2020, he would have been indicted for this incident. King Val had been shot dead 2 years earlier after an altercation with fellow rapper Quando Rondo. This development was certainly fishy since all the evidence pointed to Durk, but somehow the murder was going to be placed on a dead man, although fans believe that Durk might have bitten the cheese on this one. The rapper lawyers maintained that the case was dropped due to insufficient evidence. Durk's lawyers pointed out that their position was always that Durk was present at the crime scene, although he was never involved in the shooting. Although the two were out on bond during this case, they didn't stop causing mayhem in the streets, because in 2020, their biggest op in the streets and in the Chicago drill scene, FBG Duck, was gunned down, and it seems Durk and Va had ordered the hit. FBG Duck was shot and killed at Michigan Avenue and East Oak Street in the Gold Coast area of Chicago on the 4th of August. 2021 month later, King Von released the track GTA dissing FBG Duck. In the track Von WPS he made a diss, and now he a ghost. And it happened fast. We need to toast. FBG Duck's murder was caught on camera and the details were horrifying. CCTV footage showed a black car stop in front of a store, and armed men jump out and immediately start letting off shots as Duck tries to escape in vain. They then jump back in the black vehicle, and a great Chrysler, which was also involved in the crime, sped away, leaving Duck to die. More footage showed the gray Chrysler pulling up to a block with a cop car in pursuit. As weeks turned into months, the police worked tirelessly piecing together surveillance footage, eyewitness accounts, and social media activity. The breakthrough came when investigators discovered a digital breadcrumbs trail linking the crime to the A-Block gang. Social media posts boasting about the attack, coupled with video evidence that placed suspects at the scene, began to paint a damning picture. It turns out FBG Duck was killed for dissing T-Roy.
I don't think Vaughn paid them guys. I'm sorry to tell the world.
To know who actually paid the O-Block gang members to kill FBG Duck, FBG Butter revealed that you have to look at the suspect's arrest footage.
Everybody arrest video coming out from when they got arrested for this Duck case.
Yeah.
They ain't show move or see murders happen. Them boys got snatched at the airport on a private hangar. Bond is dead, right?
Exposing Me
Okay,
remix,
well,
How the
FBG
fuck is these
Duck
niggas
raps
paying for a
T-Roy
jet?
Get shot inside his head. But he ain't make it though, they got so many dead. I don't know who to smoke. And just 1 month before he was gunned down, Duck released Dead where he dissed his ops and their dead homies in the track. He said, I wasn't going to diss the dead. And okay, I did it. But T-Roy and O to them dead. V would confront Duck in his DM saying, I'm really helping you out, do you feel me? Cause you ain't hitting on nothing now talking about you feel me, you welcome. Goofy Duck would later reply, calling him a fan, you really needed to mention me for to do numbers like all your other silly boy. I've been a topic you know that just say you. A fan. Lil BD. A few weeks later in August 2020 FBG Duck was shot and killed. And as it turns out, King Von may have put out a $100,000 bounty for Duck to be killed. Turns out there was a rat in O'Block working with the feds who revealed that the one who paid for the hit rewarded the killers with custom-made Ook chains. A video surfaced on YouTube of King Von giving Ook members custom-made chains. But according to sources in Chicago, it was actually Lil Durk who put the hit on Duck and paid the killers. It's hard to tell whether Durkio really paid the bounty of Butter is falsely accusing his op. However, Durkio is no saint, because the rapper has one long rap sheet that has seen him go in and out of jail. Lil Durk's criminal history. The OTF head was a regular in jail before he became a successful rapper. His days behind bars date back to 2011, when he was arrested on a weapons charge, being his first offense. Lil Durk was sentenced to 3 months in prison. This wouldn't help him get off the streets because just 2 years later, the rapper was arrested again and charged with unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. This time, he was given 18 months probation after pleading guilty. However, during this probation, Durk was allegedly caught by police in possession of 2 guns, leading to another weapons-related charge. The case was eventually dropped after a judge ruled that the rapper was not in possession and control of the guns, and therefore did not violate his probation. Duro's fans thought that he was done catching cases because he had turned to Islam and even gone to rehab to clean himself up. The rapper even took to his social media to reveal that he had turned over a new leaf and would not waste his new life after all his felony cases had been cleared. Everybody should get second chances at life. It's about what you do. With it, alhamdulillah, my background wiped and clean of all cases. I ain't a felon anymore. Who would have thought? I want to thank everyone who helped push my vision forward. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, the rapper posted. But that's not the only time the rapper had publicly revealed that he was a changed man. On August 18th, 20,124, Lil Durk made a public declaration that would reverberate through the music industry and beyond, taking to Instagram. The rapper shared a post that was both personal and profound, reaffirming his Muslim faith and denouncing his past involvement in gang life. The post read, "Don't label me nothing outside of a man, a father, and a 1000% Muslim." He followed this up with another post that read, "I don't gangbang, I'm world that his dad was a good and noble man who took care of his family and the community through charitable works. I want to take a moment to stand up for my dad, Durk Banks. He has always dedicated his life to uplifting others and giving back to our community through his nonprofit organization, Neighborhood Heroes. Beyond that, he is a great father who has always supported and loved our family unconditionally. Right now, he is facing challenges, but I want to affirm that he has not been convicted of any charges and remains innocent until proven otherwise. During this difficult time, I ask for your support for him and all the good he continues to do. I would also like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the mayor for standing with my dad. His speech was well said